Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you new here, my name is Donna, and for those of you not new, thank you so much for continuing to come back and support my channel. I appreciate all of you so much. Today, I am doing my inventory for 2021. You definitely aren't going to see pictures of my collection or video of my collection throughout this video. We're just here to talk about the numbers. The biggest reason why is because I just did a collection series with you guys. If you are interested in seeing all the products in my collection, I will go ahead and link all the collection videos down below. They are in a playlist and you're more than welcome to go in there and watch all those videos. It does go through my collection over the years. I think I have done collection videos throughout my entire career, and I say that lightly because it's hobby here on YouTube. My collection has grown exponentially, but I'm really happy to say that it didn't grow a whole hell of a lot over this last year. It could have leaps and bounds grown. So just to put it into perspective for everybody, I have a palette problem. I also have just an addiction to beautiful things, and so I bring all kinds of beautiful things into my collection. I did do some really great declutters this year, and even though you guys didn't get to see the palette declutter, which pains me so much because I did record it and then inadvertently erased it and didn't realize I had erased it until I had already given away the palettes. I did do some pretty great declutters this year, and I have done a declutter prior to this point, but it wasn't a lot because there wasn't a lot in my collection. So this year was, or 2020 I guess, was the first real year that I've done declutters. In addition to what I purchase and bring into my collection via choice, I do take part in Ipsy. So I do get the Glam Bag Plus and the sample bag, and sometimes the sample bag has full-size products in it. So if they are something that I think I'm going to use, I keep them in my collection. If they are something that I don't think I'm going to use, then they go into my giveaway drawers. And if there's something that I'm going to use but use at a later date, it goes into my backups. Some other things is I get gifts. Of course, I get gratis from work due to my position in the beauty industry. I also took part in a lucky bag last year. I took part in it this year as well. So I do have those items that will come into my collection as well. I did pay for those items. I pay for the subscription items, and I pay for, you know, all the items of choice. But some of the things that I have in my inventory were not grown because I made that choice to grow them. So there's that. I'm saying an awful lot. I know I've seen inventory videos out there that have exponentially more than me.
Talking to you, Nona. Your inventory is crazy.
But I also know that this isn't an everyday consumer kind of inventory level. Please don't think that this is me bragging about my items. Many of the items that I do have, I get on a discount because of the nature of the business that I work in. Many of them come free to me in subscription boxes. Many of them come as extra items in like things like lucky bags. Many of them are gifts. I try not to buy anything full price if I can at all help it. I do buy quite a bit at TJ Maxx as well. Just note that this isn't bragging. The numbers in this inventory stress me out just a little bit, which is why I did collection and declutter videos. I'm trying to, I did a beauty budget all year last year. For the most part, I stuck to it rather well, and I'm really proud of the work I did. And then going into this next year, 2021, I also have a frame of mind of what I'm going to be doing for my beauty budget, and you guys will find out about that in my January haul video. So with that being said, let's dig into the numbers. This doesn't include my declutter drawer, which has all the items that I decluttered over the last, 12 months, and I have been giving those products away here and there, and I'm trying to decide what to do with the rest. This count doesn't include any of my skincare, any of my hair care, any of my body care, any of my samples. There are 5 new categories to this inventory versus last inventory. And there's a couple of things also that I think I maybe counted differently last year, and we'll talk about them as we go through. This video is just about the numbers. Okay guys, let's start with lips. So my lip category last year had 274 products in it. This year it has 302 items. So we grew by 28 items, but just to put it into perspective for you, last year I had 51 bullet lipsticks. This grew by 8. I have 59 this year. I had 111 liquid lipsticks. This year I have 64. So I did declutter 47 liquid lipsticks. I had 27 lip liners. You all know that I kind of went ham with the ColourPop lip liners. So this year I have 67. So this did grow by 30. I had 46 lip glosses. I have 66 this year. I also included oils in this one, lip oils in this one, whereas last year it was a totally separate category. This category grew by 20. I had 2 lip palettes last year. I still have 2 lip palettes. I should probably get rid of one of those lip palettes if I'm honest, but I use them often as like face paints. I had 18 lip balms, scrubs, and primers. These were 3 separate entities last year. This year I have 19, so it only went up by 1. And then I had 19 lip crayons last year. And stains ended up in this category this year, and I have 25 this year, so it did go up by 6. Yeah, liners and glosses, like those were the shit for me in 2020, apparently. But here's the true tea, like today I'm wearing a liner with a gloss. It is what I wear the most. I have a lot more fun with liners and glosses than I do with lipsticks. I do have sticks that I love, but I honestly could get rid of almost every liquid lipstick in my liquid lipstick drawer and be completely fine with it. For brows, I did have 20 brow products last year and I have 29 this year. So this didn't grow a whole lot. I had 11 brow pencils last year. I used 6. You guys all saw my empties. I still have 11 brow pencils, so that did not decrease or increase. With that said, brow pencils are pretty standard in beauty boxes. So last year this is a new category. I had 0 brow pomades. This year I have 7. I did purchase all the KVD Super Brows, and those are technically brow pomades, but I use them as eyeliners mostly. So this did increase by 7. I had 7 brow gels last year. This year I have 9, increase of 2. I had 2 brow highlighters last year. This year I have 1. I did realize that this isn't a product that I use very often, so this did decrease by 1. And I had 0 brow conditioners last year, and this year I have 1. That will not be repurchased, more than likely. I don't see any reason. I have a lot of brow hair. This is all natural. There's a brow gel in it today, so I don't need a brow conditioner. Really, I don't need to grow the hair in my brows. I have plenty, and I have some ripped out every 3 weeks, so like I don't need a brow conditioner, so I won't repurchase that. That's definitely something that will be leaving my brow collection this year, but that was a new category as well. So for base products, I had 70 base products last year. That includes things like primer, foundation, concealer, corrector, those kind of things. This year I have 84. The biggest category of growth was my primer. My primer was at 12 last year, and this year I have 20. I think I have some holy grails that I found in 2020, so I think that I know that there will be quite substantially a loss. That I think I went through 6 primers last year, so I do see this dwindling and not really gaining anything for 2022's inventory. Foundation was a big one for me this year as well. I had 15. I think I went through 6. I still have 20, so this grew by 5. I had 10 concealers last year. This grew by 5. I now have 15. And concealer is one of those products this year that I realized really late in 2019 or 2020 that I just don't use very much ever anymore. I think I'm wearing a concealer today, but it's literally the first time I've worn a concealer in months. I had 8 correctors last year. I now have 4. This is another piece of my inventory that I know I just don't use. So that went down by 4. I had 18 setting or finishing powders last year, and I have 16 this year. Another part of my collection I don't use. I'm going to try and barrel through as many as I can this year. So -2 there. I had 7 setting sprays or facial sprays last year, and I have 9 this year. I did get 1 full-size in gratis recently, and I think I got 1 in one of my very last FabFitFuns. Those are the only 2 I've brought into my collection. I didn't buy any setting sprays this last year. Face has things like blush, bronzer, highlight. I had 189 items in this category last year, and this year I have 208. So it went up by just under 20. Isn't as bad as it could have been. Highlights are my thing apparently throughout 2020. So were blushes. So there's that. I had 36 single pan blushes last year. This year I have 42. So this did go up by 6. Last year I had 18 blush palettes. So these are palettes that just have blushes in them. And this year I have 14. So I decluttered the 4 that are no longer in this category because I dang sure didn't use a blush palette. I had 18 bronzers last year, and I have 18 this year. So I did not gain 1 bronzer. Super proud of my life. I had 2 contours last year, and this year I have 4. I'm not sure where those additional 2 came from. I'm thinking they maybe were in a different category last year. I'm not sure. I don't remember buying any bronze or any contour this year. Oh, the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil, I think I counted as a bronzer. I mean, as a contour, because that's what I use it for. So that might be 1. I think there's a Juvia's Place stick that I purchased. So that might be those 2. I had 3 contour palettes last year. This year I have 5. I warded off these kind of palettes last year, so I'm not sure how I got the other 2.
Obviously I purchased them, but
I am not sure why. I think I got a Smashbox one in an Ipsy. That might be where that one came from. So last year I counted highlighting powders, creams, and liquids all separately. So this is going to sound like a lot more than last year. But for highlight singles, I counted powders, creams, and liquids all together. And I do have 76, or had 76 of them last year. And this year I had 84. So I have to be honest, I am really proud of the fact that I only have 8 more than what I had last year, because this is a problem area for me. If you guys are familiar with me at all, you know that highlights, man, I can't. I'm a lover of beautiful things, and highlights are just beautiful to me. So I'm really proud of the fact that I only increased my highlight level by 8. Highlight palettes, there were 14 last year, and these are again just palettes with highlights in them, just highlights. There were 14 last year, there are 15 this year, so +1. And that +1 is, I believe, a palette that I got in my Beautylish Lucky Bag last year. And then for face palettes, there were 22 face palettes last year, and there are 26 this year. Well, you guys, last year, I think I said, no face palettes. How did I get 4 more face palettes than I had last year? Face palettes, again, have 2 or more separate products in it. So blush bronzer, highlight, highlight bronzer, highlight blush, whatever. How did I get more? I don't even know. Did I purchase any? I can't remember purchasing any. Like, I don't need any more face palettes. I don't pull for them ever. I'm really super stoked to be doing a Shop My Stash this year. I really think it's going to help out with some of this stuff. All right, lashes. This was not a category on its own last year. These fell into eyes honestly. So I created a whole new category for this because I do have 2 new subcategories in lashes that I thought I needed to include this year. First, for mascaras, last year I had 23 mascaras. I don't know if you guys saw my year of empties yet or whether it's coming to you, but you will see I went through 18 mascaras last year. I had 23 mascaras to start this year. I went through 18 mascaras last year, and I still have 22 mascaras. Why do I have 22 mascaras? How do I have 22 mascaras?
What the hell?
This is only -1. But I did use a lot of mascara. I use a lot of mascaras. So while this is a lot of mascara and I don't need any more mascara, I know more mascara will come to my life because, again, that is another subscription box staple for the most part. It's going to come into my life. It is. I already can tell you I'm looking at one right now that I purchased recently because it is my favorite. And I knew that January 1 I could purchase mascaras again, because I wasn't allowed to purchase mascaras last year, so I purchased it. And now I'm sitting in this place that I'm like, I don't need to purchase mascaras. It was obviously before I did this, but there's that. I had 3 lash primers last year. I have 2 this year. So I went through 1 lash primer. I had 1 lash serum this year. Last year I had none, so this is a new category. And I had 1 lash fibers this year. Last year I had none. So this is, again, a new category. I did not put my false lashes in here. I don't really use them, so I didn't even think to add them in here. For the lashes category, last year I had 26 items. For the lashes category this year I had 26 items. So this was a flat, didn't gain, didn't lose category. For eyes last year, I had 379 products, and for eyes this year, I have 412. So that breaks down to, last year, I had 31 eyeliners. This year, I have 39, so I did increase this by 8. I do like eyeliners, and I know exactly which 8 it was. I didn't buy eyeliners at all last year, except for these guys here, which are the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Eyeliners. I bought all 8 shades that they have, and that is the 8 that my collection has grown by. I think I finished one off too, so another one must have come into my collection somehow. Liquid eyeliners, I had 23 of them last year. I finished 4, and I have 30 this year, so +7. Again, this is a staple in subscription boxes, and this year I also included my liquid glitter eyeliners, which I think last year they were in a category on their own. So that lends to some of the discrepancies in the numbers there. I did add in the liquid glitter eyeliner all the numbers to make sure that the numbers were copacetic with each other as I was, combining categories and whatnot, but for eyeliner pots last year I had 2. This year I have 2. I believe they're the same 2. This is neither, been consumed or grown at all. This isn't something that I think is going to grow unless they rename these guys eyeliner pots instead of brow pots, because I do put them into my brow category because they are considered a brow item. For eye primer, I had 14 last year. This year I have 9. I'm so stoked because last year when we did this inventory, I had done my year of empty shortly before and had only went through 1 eye primer. So when we did the inventory and I was like, I have 14 eye primers, I was like, it's going to take me 14 years to go through those 14 eye primers. I was like, you never need to buy another eye primer as long as you live. Last year I went through 5 eye primers, or 4 eye primers actually, and so 1 also came into my life through an Ipsy, but I went through 4 full eye primers, so I was really, really stoked to see those in my empties. So I did decrease this category by 5. I had 2 glitter glues last year. I have 2 glitter glues this year. I had 4 loose glitters last year, and this year I have 1. I just figured that glitter is, especially loose glitter, is just not anything I will ever put onto my face, and I can't even for the life of me give you reasons why I kept one. The other, I think I kept the one because it was open and it had been dug into. The other 3 were brand new, still sealed, so I put them into my giveaway drawers because I won't use them ever. I had 11 pressed glitters last year. So these are glitters in a pot like the Marc Jacobs sequins, or I have one from Tarte, a couple from MAC. I had 11 of those last year. This year I have 12 because I did purchase a new one, I do believe, or maybe, no, it came to me through an Ipsy. This did grow by 1. Last year I had 14 shadow sticks, and this year I have 12. Like, I really thought I got rid of a lot more shadow sticks than that, but evidently not. It only decreased by 3. Then liquid eyeshadows that are creams or glitters of some sort. So this includes things like my Stilas, my Sydney Grace creams, any of those things. I did have 22 last year and I have 25 this year. So this did increase by 3. And I do think that those 3 items were a Lime Crime and 2 Natasha Denona. So I know exactly which 3 those are. I had 14 loose pigments last year. This year I have 15. That came to me through Ipsy. I actually have a few that came to me through Ipsy and a few that I decluttered. So this increased by 1 item, and then I had 133 single shadows last year. This year I have 119. So this decreased by 14. I did finish off 1, and I tossed 2 additional ones because they were in my project pan. They were almost done and their formulation had changed just a little bit. I think I saw a couple that broke over the last several months, but other than that, this is down by 14. I don't know how that happened because I don't remember getting rid of 14 single shadows, if I'm honest. But I also do put into that single shadow number everything that's in this top drawer, not this top drawer, this top drawer, because those are also single shadows but in their own containers. And I did get rid of some of those in the declutter process. And then eyeshadow palettes. Last year I had 109 and I thought that was a lot. And this year it had grown by 39 eyeshadow palettes. So I currently have 148 eyeshadow palettes. So with that being said, last year my grand total of number of items in my collection was 958 items. And this year, the grand total of items in my collection is 1,045 items. It does include my backup drawers. There are times that I take things from my backup drawers and put them into giveaways. So those or give them to friends and family. So there is a chance that something in those backup drawers that I have counted in my inventory will not be part of my inventory next year or at some point throughout the year. I am actually really pretty pleased with the fact that this could have grown exponentially with all the things that I bring into my collection via gratis, via subscription boxes, via, Beautylish Lucky Bag and all the beautiful things that I want to purchase on my own. But it didn't. Like when we were sitting at home quarantining ourselves and I could have been spending all that time online shopping, I didn't. I actually did a really good job with my beauty budget. For the most part, there were months that I didn't even spend anything but what was the cost of my Ipsy bag. So I am actually pretty proud of the fact that it didn't grow as much as it possibly could have in the last year. 2020 was a hot mess, and buying all the beautiful things was how many of us coped. And this proves to me that that wasn't necessarily so for me. I'm also really proud of some of the categories that have seen a depletion in numbers. Really was necessary, and the ones that have grown exponentially I can make sense of. I am going to utilize this to help me figure out what we're doing this year for our beauty budget and figure out where to go from here as far as this goes. But I cannot say that I am disappointed or overwhelmed or anything like that any more than I was last year. I am a little overwhelmed by my collection, if I'm honest. But I have instilled things like doing my Simply Sample series, doing my palette roulette, getting familiar with my palettes for 1 week at a time so that I know whether I want to keep the palette in my life or not. Doing things like Shop My Stash, new to programming this year, so that I get usage out of my items. And really, that's overall the only thing I want from my items, is to get some usage out of it, so I'm not just wasting money. I love seeing empties. I love doing Project Pan. I love doing those kind of things because I know that I'm getting that usage out of my product. I would be interested to know if there were any surprises for you guys. You're familiar with my channel. You're here all the time. You're watching my videos. You see my empties. You see me haul things in. What are your thoughts? Are you surprised at all? Thank you guys so much for coming to watch this video today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you enjoyed it so much that you're gonna give it a big thumbs up. It really does help our channels out here. I hope that you liked it or me enough that you're considering subscribing to my channel before you go. I would love to have you along for this crazy ride of mine. If you do that, please don't forget to hit the notification bell. It will notify you every single time I upload, and I do upload content multiple times a week, and I wouldn't want you to miss anything. I hope that 2021 is being kind to you wherever you are. I hope that you and yours are well, and that when you're out in public that you're wearing your masks, if for no other reason but to keep yourself safe. I hope that you all are loving each other, but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye everyone.